The following recording is a Somali Society of Engineers presentation conducted on November 1st, 2024. Engineer Rashed Gulaid is a professional senior civil engineer with over 35 years of progressive experience in road and bridge construction, project management, and infrastructure development across the greater Chicago area. He started his career as a staff engineer at Schnabel Engineering before joining the Illinois Department of Transportation, where he spent over 12 years as a resident engineer. He currently serves as the president and CEO of Gulaid Consulting Engineers, overseeing multidisciplinary teams and delivering complex civil engineering projects for public and private clients. Rashid holds a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from the University of the District of Columbia and a master's degree in Structural Engineering from Howard University. In addition to his professional and technical background, Rashid serves as a member of the SSC Advisory Committee, contributing his industry expertise to shape the future of engineering education and professional development in the Somali community.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. So I'm not sure of Somali Greece lagu hadlayay. I'm not sure which one is if there's a language preference here, but I'll mix and match. So congratulations, SSE. I am privileged to be with you guys on your first anniversary. I was there when you guys have started this organization and have participated it. I'm very proud of the work that you have done for the last 1 year. I've been part of some of it, and I was an audience on others. I have prepared a small short presentation regarding what it takes to own an engineering firm. I call it engineering entrepreneurship, and I prepared these slides, about 9 of them. I will go through it, and I think more of the presentation will be more useful, once we have the panel and the question and answer comes through. So we'll just quickly go through the presentation, and then we will go into the panel discussion. The first part is the introduction, and basically to start your own business. And this is, I have to put out a disclaimer that I'm neither a professional nor have been in this business for a long time. So I'm trying to provide mostly personal experience on the industry. For the few years that I have been a business owner, I've been in the business for about 30 years, but I've owned my own company for about 8 years. So this is mostly a reflection of my personal experiences and with the industry when I was the owner. So about 3 things pop into my head, from the get-go. And what do you need? How do you get to become, or how do you start thinking about owning your own business? Well, there are 2 options, or 2 or 3 or 4 options. There could be more. You may have had a long dream to own your own engineering business. And the second one that I think is more relevant is a lot of people develop this while they are working on their own careers. As your career grows, you realize that you could actually become a business owner, and that gravitates you toward owning your own business. The other is it could have been a long-held dream that one day you own your own business. But apart from the ambition, and what else do you need to have your own business? So there are a few things that I list in here. By no means, these are not the only things that you need, but these are few things that I dealt with while I was establishing my own business. So technical proficiency, professional networking, and understanding business operations. These are the 3 things that I want to start with. So let me go to the second slide. So if you want to start your own business, gaining professional experience is a must. Uh, I can't imagine somebody getting out of college and immediately saying that I want to own my own business, or having like a 1 year or 2 year experience. It won't be practical. It could happen. I mean, there are some geniuses in every society who could do anything, but usually that doesn't happen. So you need to gain a professional experience in your field of expertise, at least minimum few years, 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 20 years is best if you can do that. But you also need to have an operational experience. In addition to that technical prowess, you also need to learn the how businesses work, and you can gain that from your own career. As you grow, you become, a regular engineer, you grow into a mid-level or experienced engineer, senior engineer, into a manager and vice president, executive, and all these things. And along the way, you will learn some operational experiences of how to run a business. So if you can get that is a huge plus. If you can get that operational experience, it's a huge plus. But definitely, these two things are a must-have experiences. Once you start your own business, you need to obviously build additional experiences on how to run a business. You need to build relationships with clients, with industry peers. And this is the thing, these are things that you could actually, if it's possible, these are also a prerequisite before you start your own business. You need to know who the clients are. You need to know industry peers who can help you later on. You need to know people who make decisions with companies and with the industry, with the government or other major companies. So these are networking and career experience that are prerequisite before you even start your own company. Business formation. The next thing, now that you have gained some experience, you hopefully have some operational experience, and hopefully you have some rudimentary network. You know who the clients are, you know some people who are mid-level managers in some companies who can help you later on. Now you start thinking about you're registering your own business. And this is basically uh, uh, choose a legal structure. You can make it a LLC, you can make it a PC, a professional corporation, or a regular corporation. I've chose to make my own business a professional organization, but that requires an engineering license. You need to have a professional engineering license to have a professional corporation, at least in our state of Illinois. Um, you need to have professional license. Some of the businesses are registered with the Department of Professional Regulations in most states, especially in Illinois. So you need to register your uh, uh, professional. You need to get your professional license. You need to get your tax ID number. Very important. Without a tax ID number, you won't be able to operate. This is like a social security number for corporations. You won't be able to run a business. In addition to that, before you start anything, before you go after any contract, before you approach clients, the first thing they will ask you is, do you have insurance? Most of these organizations, there's risk involved on starting a contract. So there are four insurances that I've listed here that are very important at the beginning of itself. I mean, you could get more. There is an umbrella, something called umbrella that's not listed in here, but professional liability. We are, as an engineer, you're providing a professional services, and there's something called errors and omissions that you could mistakenly miss something. You could leave something out in the plans that you're preparing or in the services that you're providing. And you need insurance to help you out in case the clients comes after you. And professional liability insurance is the most expensive insurance, and it could reach up to ten to $15,000 per year. You also need general liability, which is a standard business liability. You need the workers' comp. You cannot send anybody to work without having a workers' compensation. And this is by statute, state statute. So, like the state of Illinois puts a statute of requiring you to have certain amount, a cap on workers' compensation. And if you don't have that, you can't even start work. You can't send people to work. Auto insurance, it's a must. It's not a regular auto insurance. It's a commercial insurance, which is a little higher. Uh, we carry $1 million per, on our insurance, but you could have more than that if you want to. So there's no bottom limit. Okay, financial preparedness. So now that you've registered your company, you have done your due diligence in terms of lining up potential clients, understanding how the business works. Uh, you know, then it comes to the financial preparedness. Are you really prepared to drop everything else and start your own business? So this is you need to have a little bit of um, uh, strength in your financial savings, and or you need to have a support from institutions or from families or from friends or somebody. Uh, you need to have a startup capital. And we'll talk about what kind of startup capitals you need in a later slide. But at the beginning, remember, if you had a career, you're leaving your job. So you're not getting paid. You may be working 16 hours a day. You're not getting, nobody's there to pay you. So you need to have savings. If you have a family, if you have other obligations that you have to attend to, you need to be thinking about that and planning carefully to balance work and family ahead of time you start your own business. So to begin with, you need to have a startup capital, which we will talk about later on, or a line of credit. Those are the two most common things that you need when you're starting, when you're preparing financially. Okay, so one will ask, well, how much money do I need to start my own business? Well, there is no magic number that I can tell you. It will vary your needs, uh, what kind of line of engineering business you started. Some engineering businesses require a lot of equipment, which can be very costly. The insurance is costly. You may need, if you don't have, if you're not able to market yourself, you will need to have a marketing team, and they will require a salary, or at least you need to spend some money on it if you're not even using people and you're using other methods. And you need to have a payroll if you want to pay yourself a little salary ahead of time. So you need to get it from your own savings. My trick is that I've started my business from my home, which helped me quite a bit. I don't have to pay electricity. I don't have to pay rent, and it was pretty easy. So I would recommend that if it's possible, there are certain um, businesses that cannot start from home. Like if you're doing a design work, you don't want to bring your employees to your home if you have one or two employees. But if you're starting with yourself, you could definitely do that. All right, the financial setup continues. Obviously, you will have created, hopefully by now, a business bank account. You will need to have um, a software to to reconcile your books and uh, keep up with your expenses and income. There may not be much income, but there will be a lot of expenses, and you need to track that expense. So QuickBooks, FreshBooks, Deltek, I mean, these are some of the softwares that you can use. But in my personal experience, I get any of these. I just developed my own spreadsheet since there wasn't much coming in, and it was easy just to track it with a regular spreadsheet. Um, uh, Obviously, secure funding or line of credit prior to opening your own business. And I'm saying that out of experience. I waited until I opened my own business. And the first thing that the bank will tell you is, well, you don't even work. How are you going to get a line of credit? So try to get a line of credit uh, before you start your own business or whatever loans, line up your loans ahead of time. Hire a CPA. You will need to start with a good accountant. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you know about accounting, and you may think that I don't have a lot of expenses on income. You need to have a good start. Accountants will help you. And if you spend a little money on it, it doesn't cost at the beginning, you don't have a lot. It doesn't cost more than a few $100. Hire a CPA accountant. You want to have a good footing. You want to start with a good footing. So I did hire a CPA at the beginning. Didn't cost me that much, and I'm glad I did. What other resources do you need? You need professional personnel. Uh, in order to have a license in engineering for the engineering business, you need to have some certifications, professional engineering license. You need to have a technical staff. Once you start working, that are capable of prosecuting the contracts that you are going after or pursuing. And these are civil, structural, what have you, construction management. You need CAD people, you need project managers, but that's later on. At the beginning, but at least there are basic requirements. For instance, in our end, we need to have a professional engineer. You need to have a resume of uh, what you're starting. Are you capable of doing what you, even if you are one person, it doesn't matter. But are you capable of doing that kind of work? You can always hire other people later on. You also need softwares, and these can be very costly. If you're doing any design work, you need AutoCAD, you need Civil 3D, you may need Revit, SAP 2000, what have you. So you need to think about these are the initial costs that will require financial resources. Operational resources. You need an administration, you need marketing, you need an IT to set up the website, your website, and all kinds of things. Uh, Prepare that you do all. Initially, when I was starting my own business, I did all of the, I'm still doing a lot of these things. And uh, admin work, you could probably do it, but marketing may be the most difficult for engineers. Engineers are not trained to sell, and this is about selling. You're selling services, and if you're not, we're usually very technical, and we're not the salespeople. So be prepared. This is going to be fall on your, you'll have to do it. If you don't have money to hire some marketing team, you'll have to do it yourself. So you'll have to go out into the market, do meet and greets, uh, talk to clients and say, hey, I'm out here, I'm looking for a project. And so you need to be prepared to have, you need to, uh, uh, sharpen your presentation skills and so on. At the outset of your setting up your company, you need to have a safety program. You need to have a quality plan. Those are required. Most of the companies, especially when you're taking sub-consultant work, they will ask you, do you have a QC plan? Do you have a safety program? So you need to have these kind of resources. You need to have an employee handbook. You need to have a standard operating procedure in place. Some companies will ask you, so what you can do is you can outsource these things. There are companies, human services companies that will actually help you. You can use them as needed, and they will help you develop employee handbooks. They will help you develop safety programs and quality plans for your company. And you can even get an admin support as needed, But again, it is you're financially constrained. So that comes also into a play. Business development and compliance. So you need to develop this business. And how do you do that? You advertise, you develop your own websites, you write capability statements, which you will have to distribute to whoever your clients are, whether they're private, government, or what have you. So they know that you're out there, and they know what your capabilities are, and they know what your capacity is. Capacity is in terms of personnel and resources. Uh, and use proposal templates, join ACE and your organization, like National Society of Professional Engineers, American Consulting Engineering Companies. These are resources that you can join and advertise yourself. And your organization, the Somali Society of Engineers, can actually be a vehicle for that type of business development. You would not believe as I've told you before, I have been a member of Arab American Association in Illinois, and you cannot imagine how helpful it was for me at the beginning. I was able to get most of my resources by networking at their events. And nowadays, I'm a sponsor of their events. And that even gives you more visibility. And you need to maintain presence in LinkedIn, Google Business Profile. You also need to have a certification, certain certifications like the DBE, which is a Disadvantaged Business Enterprises, Minority Business Enterprises, and Women Business Enterprises. These are, especially if you're a small company, most of these government contracts have goals. And if you are a minority, which we are as a Somali community, we are an African American minority, we are eligible to participate in these kind of programs. And they provide a lot of resources. Unfortunately, we may be able to talk about it a little later today, but this program is under attack by the Trump administration, and he is rolling back all the gains that have been made over the years. But we'll discuss. We don't have a lot of information yet, but if at the question and answer session, we'll touch up a little bit of this. Hopefully, Abdelhamid and I will touch it. Uh, Other resources, SAMS.gov, if you wanna cater to the federal government, SAMS.gov is another resource. Also, the DOTs advertise the contracts. They send out bulletins every 2 or 3 months, and you can see what contracts are available. But you can also subscribe to their email, and you'll get automatic emails of what's available, and go from there. Early growth. So now that you have established all of this, how do you grow? So once you start your own business, everybody will tell you start small. Don't jump into a big contracts. Well, there are two reasons for that. Your capacity is very small at the beginning, usually, unless you have plenty of backers who are financial backers who can hire you on all the people that you need. You're a small company, so start pretty small and build your portfolio, because this is how the industry looks at it. They don't look at your personal um, experience. For instance, when I was starting my own company, I had 25 years of experience. I've uh, implemented projects that are up to $100 million. That didn't mean anything when I started my own business because what they're looking at is how many contracts have you executed? Your own company, not you as a Rashid. So how do you get that? You don't get that. You start from zero. So somebody has to put you in as a sub-consultant on a small project, and then you build your resume until you gain enough experience and you demonstrate competency. You showcase your strength and your capabilities, and people will actually like you, and they will come back to you if you do a great job for them. Um, don't think that, yeah, I'm small, I'm not expected to do well. Think like the big guys do if you want to compete in this industry. Uh, and people will notice you. Other companies will notice you. The government will notice you, and you'll keep getting jobs. Establish credibility. You wanna be known as somebody who is pretty serious about what they do. You need to be mindful on the expectations that the client has. They have expectations from you. So initially, when you're starting a contract, you need to establish, you need to understand what are the expectations of the clients, and you need to match their expectations. Otherwise, at the end of the day, they will evaluate you, and if they don't give you good points, it will hurt you on your next project, on your next pursuit. Strategies and support, like we talked about before. Uh, how do you get jobs? Well, you partner with firms, with private firms, public firms, firms that are have been in the business for a long time. Uh, then you build relationships with prime consultants, and these prime consultants will give you. They may start with you small, but as they get to know you, they will increase your contracts. And then other prime consultants will notice you. And pretty soon you will have like set of two, three, four, five companies who will come back to you if they like your work. And that's a big help. You can also become a prime consultant as your resume, as your firm resume grows. You can be a prime consultant. And the one thing that you need to remember as you become a prime consultant is remember those who gave you jobs, the big companies, the prime consultants, and reciprocate that relationship. Don't think that they don't want anything from you. Primes do want to become subs because they cannot be a prime all the time. So they prefer that you give them once you become a prime, that you reciprocate that relationship. Maintain your license. You have to comply with licenses. Uh, they expire every 2 years. You'll have to keep the PDH, the 30 credit hours for the PEs, and the continuous education. You have to train your staff with new technologies. You may be purchasing new technologies. You need to have funds and resources to train your staff into those new technologies. You need to have a legal counsel familiar with AE contracts, uh, architect and engineering contracts. You need to have this because when you're signing a contract, there are finer writing, but and if you don't read thoroughly and you don't understand everything that's written in there, it could haunt you later on. So you're better off having a lawyer go through it. It doesn't cost a lot. Again, it depends on how many hours he charges you, but going through a contract may cost you like a couple of hours, 2, 3 hours. But believe it or not, it is very, very helpful at the end, and you can save yourself from being sued later on for making mistakes. Um, that does it for the presentation, but we'll be ready to go to the panel discussion, and hopefully other questions will come up during the panel discussion. Thank you.
This marks the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening, and if you would like to learn more or get in touch, please visit us at somaliengineers.org.